Hello guys, today I'm gonna teach you how to make 2D rigs just like that using Blender. And also I'm gonna show my process to make this animation. So grab something to eat and some coffee to drink and come with me. Before we start animating, we need to separate the artwork into different pieces. For this one, I will keep it simple and only separate the basics like the arms, legs, head, hair and clothes. So I'm gonna separate the background. I'm gonna use the magical wand tool to just select the background like that. Very simple. Make a inverted mask and convert, oops, let me remove this, and convert to smart object. I'm gonna start separating the limbs. To make that, I'm gonna use the pen tool. So I'm gonna press Ctrl J to send it to a new layer. Looking good. It's good enough for me. So I'm gonna convert this to smart object. Now for this other part, we need to separate the forearm from the arm, so we don't have problems on the animation step. This is a little bit confusing, but I think it's some kind of shape like this, maybe. I don't know exactly which shape is that. Like, I think this is kinda wrong. I don't know if it's correct at all, but let's keep it this way. I'm not gonna change it. So convert smart object. Now we have two limbs. Let's separate the back. This part right here should be the shoulder. Let me hold Ctrl and click in the thumbnail of the arm so we can remove the pixels, just like that, and redraw this fur because we can't have holes on our artwork. We need to fill the gaps. Okay, something like this. So we're still having to make this for the back. Even this is not gonna show up fully on the animation if you don't hit draw the limb when we push it to the side. We're gonna have some gaps, so we're still having to fill and hit draw it anyway. Okay, it's perfect. So let's make a test. Yeah, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. Now we can make the upper body. But for the upper body, I'm gonna include this top part of the shirt, and this part's gonna be in another layer because I'm gonna add physics to the clothes. So let's start separating. Now for this part, I'm gonna use the same concept as before. I'm gonna hold Ctrl and click the thumbnail of the arm so I can remove that pixels from the body. This is fine, so we're gonna put on top of the arm, or the forearm. I always got confusing about the name. So we need to separate the skirt with the lower body. Also, we are gonna have two parts over here, one of the top and one of the back. It's kind of simple because we have the hand in front of it, so we don't need to make too much details. Okay, it's done. Now we just need to make the body. This is pretty decent. It's good enough for me. I kinda like it. So we're gonna make the back of the shirt. For the legs, I will have 2 layers and not just one, because I may want to animate the legs. So as you can imagine, we need to redraw the legs also. I'm just gonna imagine the shape of the thighs. I think it's something like this. I don't know too much about female anatomy. Yeah, I think this is proper for the work. I'm gonna expand my canvas a little bit down to redraw the legs. I'm not gonna redraw fully the legs because this is gonna take too much time and a lot of work. There's no need to make this. So let's just add a little bit of fur to the bottom. This is kind of simple. Now we just need to make the top of the leg. Okay, so we have almost everything already done. So I'm gonna make the back of the skirt. So we just need now the tail, the head, and the hairs. I'm not gonna separate the face because it's too much work and I'm kinda lazy to make that. Let's get started and make the head. Okay, this head is kind of funny, not gonna lie. It's kind of weird also, but okay. The ear have some fur, some fluffy fur over the hair. I'm just gonna ignore it and remove the fur later. We're gonna separate the hair on the bottom with the ear. Okay, I think this is perfect. So let's move it to the top layer. Just the bottom of the hair is gonna be on the back. Now we just need to separate the tail, and we are done. So we have all the layers already separated for animation, but we need to rename all the layers before animating. Okay, I just renamed everything. So the next step is kinda important. That is, we need to have all the layers into a separated PNG file, but with the size of the canvas, with the full size of the canvas. To make that, you can just select the top layer, go down, hold shift and click on the bottom layer, go to File, Export, and Layers to Files. Here you have the file name and prefix. I'm gonna put underscore, select visible layers only, file type PNG24. Down here you can check transparency and uncheck the trim layers, should be disabled, because we need the canvas size for each file and not the layer size. Okay, then you can just click in browse, choose a location, and click in run and wait until it's finished. But Akurallia, I can't export every single layer to a PNG file like just you did right now because I don't have Photoshop, or my Photoshop don't have this option. What can I do? So you can just show the bottom layer, go to File, Export, Quick Export as PNG, and when exported, go to the next layer, go to File, Export, Quick Export as PNG, and so on. You're gonna make that for every single layer you have. I really don't know a better way to make that. So if you know, please leave in the comments. So for the Photoshop step, it's just like that. Now we're gonna go to Blender to make the rig. Now that we have our character dismembered, it's time to start on Blender. First of all, have a clean scene just like that. I have nothing. And just press Shift plus A and add a camera. As you can see, the camera is facing to the bottom, and that's not how it's supposed to be. So you go to the Object tab and set all the values to 0, and just adjust the rotation on the X axis to 19. As you can see, the format of my camera is kinda like a square, and it must be in the resolution of our illustration. So you must go to the location where sprites are saved and just right click, go to properties and go to details. So you can see the resolution right here. This is the width and the height of the image. We must set it to the output, the same resolution as it's shown here. So let me adjust 1344 by 2021. Now we have the same resolution. It's time to import, so just click in the location, Ctrl C to copy, go in the Blender, press Shift plus A, image, mesh plane. If you don't have this, you must install an extension called import image as planes. Now just go to the desired location, like this. I have all the layers right here. As you can see, the top layer have the 0, on the second layer have the 1, 2, 3, and so on. So you must select the bottom layer first, hold shift and click the top layer, and here we must adjust some things. First of all, align. You should have plus X on the default, but change to face camera. Check offset planes and set the offset direction to -Z. You can change this if your images are importing wrongly. In my case, this is the right option, okay? The distance. This means the distance between each image. I have to put a really low value, just like that, because if I put something like 0.1, the images are really far from each other. Size mode. Normally I put to absolute. You can try to scale to camera frame if you want, but when I use this, it's not working for me for some reason, so I set to absolute. And the shader. The shader should be emission, so every single image emits light. So we are not gonna have any kind of shadow and any other stuff. Okay, emission strength, I normally put 1. You can change and try if you want, but this is my default settings, okay? Now you just need to hit import images planes down here. And see, we have all images side by side. I just need to fit into the camera lens. So if you press G and Y, you're gonna move in the green axis. So let me put it right here. Enter into the camera and just fit into my camera vision. G, Y, and just adjust. And it's perfect. Now the camera is facing the character perfectly. For some reason, you can't see the character. It's completely white or gray like that. Like this, you just need to change up here. You have the wide frame, the gray, which is solid preview. You have the material preview and the hand-read mode. Let me just put this character on a collection. So in my scene collection, I'm gonna click on the bottom layer, hold shift, click on the top layer, press M, new collection, and put to Jinko. Perfect. The camera, I'm gonna hide the camera. You can hide in this little eye icon right here. Okay. Now how can I face perfectly the front of the image to animate and make all this stuff? Right here, you have this thing. You can rotate your view, but if you click in any of these axes, you're gonna fit into it. So I'm gonna fit into -Y, and I have the perfect vision of my character. You need to hold shift and click in the middle mouse button to navigate around here, because if you don't, you're gonna just orbit. Okay, now we have the basics completely set up. We need to start making the meshes. I'm not gonna enter into full details, but every single part of this image, it's just a square. And you can't distort a square. You need to have cuts in your image so you can manipulate them. I'm gonna teach you a easy way to make your meshes. First of all, select your part you wanna make the mesh, go to edit mode instead of object mode, and we need to take a zoom in. We're gonna make for the hair. Now we need the knife tool to make some cuts. Here you have the knife tool. You can press K on your keyboard and make some cuts. You can try to copy my cuts if you want. Okay, there's no problem. You just need to pay attention to not really cut out wrongly. See, I can't move the cuts. I just cut right here, but I can't move pressing G. So you need to pay attention on these details. You can make new cuts, but you can't change the cuts later. Okay, that's the problem we have. This is why I normally use Koa tools, and I teach how to use Koa tools on my animation course because it's really convenient. I think this side is okay. Oh fuck! I just pressed ask and I canceled all my cuts. See how I make my cuts? I kinda make some type of stripes or blocks. I don't know how to translate that to English, but instead of just cutting around, I try to make symmetric cuts. So one here, one here, one here, one here. So you have these blocks of cuts. This is how I do it. I am down here, so I can't make the cuts without making a line. So what can I do? You can just press enter. Okay, so I'm gonna make some more. Let me just press enter again. Perfect. So we have our main cut and some other cuts out there. I don't want these outer cuts, just my my hair. So I'm gonna click on this one. In the face mode, okay, you have the vertex. You can just select one point. You have the edges where you select the edges, of course, and the face mode. Okay, change to face mode. Click on the click on this, hold shift and click on the outer face, press X and choose faces. Now the faces are gone and we have just our main face with the hair. But these cuts are kind of I don't know how to say that in English anyway, but they are not so good. So to fix that, we're gonna press A to select everything, right click and boundary aligner remesh. This is a free add-on you can find on the internet, and when you choose it, the layer are gonna be like that. You have more subdivisions. So you click right here in the resolution, you put something around 16 and you have a better mesh. We're gonna fix this weird distortion, so don't worry. To fix that, it's kinda easy actually, but first we need to get back to object mode, turn on your camera and click on this icon to enter in the camera. Okay, now we have our vision, flat vision right here. Select our hair, enter in edit mode, select everything, pressing A, press U and project from view, and we're just fine. It's totally fixed. So now we just need to make that for the other layers. So don't forget, enter in edit mode, press K to get the knife tool and just make your cuts. Now just press enter, select the face select mode, click on the outer faces, press X and faces. For the head, I'm not gonna use the boundary aligner remesh because I think it's not necessary. For me, the head, just like that, it's fine. So I'm gonna get back to object mode and make the same process for the arm. If your vision is just completely yellow, just like that, and you don't wanna, you click and it's still white, you can just change to any other mode like vertex or edge and click, and you can just start working. Okay, I did all this stuff, so I'm gonna press enter, just like that. Let me adjust my vision to front and use the face selection mode, and of course with a selection tool, click the faces, in the outer faces, press X and faces. Now I'm gonna do the same stuff for this arm. Press in the face mode, press A, select everything, right click and boundary align and remesh. Now we have a mesh just like that. It's fine for me. You can tweak the settings down here if you want, but it's okay. Enter in the camera, press A, select everything, press U and project from view. This way you don't have that distorted image. Okay, so we have the hair, the head and the arm fully meshed. So of course I'm just gonna make the same step for all the other limbs. I got to a specific part, I have to give you a brief explanation. I am on the back of the skirt of the character, you know, this bottom part. So I have two separated parts, and to make the mesh I'm not gonna for example make the cut right here and push another cut right here, because this middle part is gonna be filled with triangles and we don't want that. At the specific part I'm gonna make the basic cuts just like I have been doing, and when finished, instead of creating new cuts, I will press enter to save the cuts. Now I have the mesh divided and I have a really huge face right here, which I'm gonna cut anyway. So I'm gonna get the knife tool and make the same stuff. Press enter again, and now I have three faces to get rid of. So I'm gonna just select them, X, face, press A, right click, boundary align and remesh, change the value, okay, this is fine, and press U and project from view. So this is how you deal with parts, with separated parts, just like that. Now we got all the meshes already made and ready for rigging, so it's time to start making the bones and the rig. For this I'm gonna turn off my camera again, I don't want to use it, and I'm gonna change my perspective to -Y. Okay, so how do you start making the rig? First of all, check if you are on object mode and press Shift+A and go to armature. See, you have a single bone, just like that. It's a huge bone also, so I'm gonna press G and Y to put it on the character, G and Z to put it on the hips, and okay. Now to make this better to see, I'm gonna on the data tab go to viewport display and change this. Instead of octahedral, maybe we can go to stick, so we can see better the distance and all the other stuff. So let me snap my vision to the front again. How do you add more bones and manipulate them? You should first select your bone and go to edit mode. So you can, using the selection tool, you can click the head of the bone and manipulate it. Like you can also click on the whole bone, but I'm just gonna adjust the tips. So I'm gonna have like 2 bones for the body and 1 for the neck. So how can I adjust that? First of all, I'm gonna select the tip of the bone and press G to move around and put right here. And to create a new bone from this, I'm gonna press E to make an extrusion. See? I place where I want and I click with the left mouse button, just like that, and then press G and E again. But why, Akurallia, why do you just press E in the tip of the bone? Because if you select the whole bone and press E, you're gonna create new bones for both tips and tails, you know? So this is how it works. So I'm just gonna make some new bones pressing E. I can select the tip of this bone for some reason, so let me change again to octahedral here and press E to create one for the shoulder. Now for the other arm, same stuff, just press E and left mouse button. I'm not gonna make for the hair now, the hair come later, okay? Now for the hips, I can easily make one here and one here, but I don't know if I want to make this way. I want to create a bone from here instead. If you press Shift plus A, you're gonna create a new huge bone just like that. You can use if you want, there's no problem. I'm gonna press X to get rid of this bone, but you can just simply select any bone and press Shift plus D to create a duplicate from it, just like that. You can press R on your keyboard to rotate it also, and S for the scale. So I'm gonna put it maybe here. I think it's fine. And then press E to create a new extrusion, and press E to create a new extrusion. Akurallia, why are you creating a new bone where there is no image? You're gonna understand, so don't worry about it. So let me do the same stuff for the right side, but I'm gonna select both bones, Shift plus D to duplicate, and just adjust it. Pretty easy, right? The tail, I'm gonna make the bones for it later, like the hair. By now, we need to check some things, because maybe the hierarchy is wrong. So if you go to the pose mode, so you can manipulate the bones. But we have a problem, which is the hips are not moving with the body. So how can I fix that? You can just go back to edit mode, select the bone, holding shift click it in the other bone, Ctrl P, and keep offset. If you put connected, it's gonna connect, as you can see. So I don't want that. I just wanna maintain the position, so keep offset. Okay, as you can see, it draws a line from the bone to another bone, so you can see what's the child and what's the parent. This is basically a relationship of parent and child. So how this bone move the others, it's the parents of this, and this is the child of that. You know, I don't know how to explain properly, but it's like that. And these bones on the tip of the leg, I'm gonna click on both of them, Alt P, and clear parent. I don't want them to be childs of the leg. So let's see, I suppose it's everything moving correctly now. Yeah, they are. Okay, it's everything fine. So we're gonna associate all the limbs to the bones. So to make that, we're gonna do in the simple way. Instead of associating every single part, we're gonna do all this stuff at once. So you select all your sprites from the character, hold shift and click in the armature and press Ctrl P. Here you have a lot of options, but we're gonna go with armature deform with empty groups. This way it's not moving, because we have manually to associate every bone to every part of the character. If we make this automatically, this is what's gonna happen. Associate with automatic weights. Okay, it's everything moving, but every bone moves every part at the same moment. And this is completely bad, because we have to adjust a lot of things manually. And this is gonna take too much time. We got to go with empty groups, okay? Let's make the weight painting stuff. To make that, you first select your armature and then hold shift and click in any limb you have, for example the arm. So you need to press Ctrl Tab and go to weight paint. As you can see, you have it completely blue. So up here in weight paint, normally I change to active and reduce the opacity to a really low value like 0.1, 0.2 and whatever. How do you make the weight painting? To select any bone to make the weight painting, you need to hold Alt and click in the desired bone. So for example, for this arm, I'm gonna get the shoulder and check the weight, the radius and the strength. Normally I have these values, and to change the size of the brush you press F. So I'm gonna paint here. See how some parts are red, yellow, green and blue. In the place there's nothing, it's not gonna manipulate and distort. Where is red, it's gonna completely manipulate. If you wanna make this a little bit smoother, you can hold shift and click and drag to... Now if you rotate this shoulder, see how it's moving this part. So we're gonna do the same for the arm, but we're not gonna weight paint here, just down here. Okay, just like that. You can hold Ctrl to remove the weight painting. Okay, now it's gonna move here, and also is moving here. So you can have both bones moving at the same place. So we have the shoulder moving here, and we can put the arm to also move here. See how it's moving here also, but personally I don't want that, so I'm not gonna do it. The weight painting is kinda interesting because you can, for example, hold Alt and click in the head and put the head to manipulate the arm. See, so you can make any bone move any part of your character. So it's moving here, and this one's gonna manipulate here. I'm gonna remove a little bit, holding Ctrl. Okay, it's not bad at all. Maybe I can remove a little bit of that. Okay, it's better. Hold Alt, click in the hand, and make the weight painting for the hand. Maybe not that much. This is not okay. I will have to make some adjustments, so I'm gonna press Ctrl Tab, go to Object Mode, select my rig, press Tab to enter into Edit Mode, and put this pivot right here. Now I can't go back to weight painting. It's moving a little bit better now. It's not so good, but it works. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's gonna work. So if I move my shoulder, we have all this stuff working. See, it's not so complicated as it looks. It's kind of simple actually. Let's make for the body. In object mode, click the rig, click the limb or the sprites, call it as you prefer, Ctrl Tab, weight paint. Now hold Alt in any bone to edit. Let me see. This root bone maybe can manipulate here without problems. On the upper body, it's gonna get something like that. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah, something like this. So if we bend this upper body too much, it's gonna reveal the lower body. So we are gonna make some weight painting on the lower body also. We can fix it later, but whatever. Let's focus on this. Now for the shoulder, let's make something like that. Let's make for the neck. Also, the arm is gonna move the body at the same time as the shoulder, so you can have a little bit of distortion, just like that. Not perfect, but it's good enough for me. So you have to do this for every part now. Now we got to an interesting situation, which is we have the hip bones and the leg, which is gonna move the skirt. So we have the base layer moving all that part, and let me hide the right arm, and we're gonna set up the legs to move that part also, and the hip, something like that, while the base bone move all the stuff up here. So we can make something just like that. I suppose this is gonna work. Maybe not at all, but I think it's gonna be fine. So see, you have to distribute some kind of weight painting. Maybe here in the middle we can have the base bone with weight painting. Some parts are getting with conflict, just like here, as you can see. This is definitely a problem. Now it's just fixed because a simple weight painting. I think I should remove this. Yeah, now it's working a little bit better. I'm not gonna make a extreme movement, so I think it's okay. It works for the purpose of the rig. Of course, you can always fix that, but you should pay attention anyway. Now, for the legs, I don't plan to make just this bone to fully control the legs, of course. So let me hide this. And for the leg, we have the thigh bone controlling the top of the leg, and the remaining bone for the rest of the leg, just like that. Okay. Now, we're gonna create some physics bones for the tail, shirt, and hair. So Let's select armature, press tab to enter in edit mode. You can change up here if you want. Okay. Now it's the same stuff. I'm gonna select the base bone, for example, and shift plus Z to duplicate, adjust it. But let me just hide some things to see only the tail of the character. And the bones for the tail, I'm not gonna put on the back. It's gonna start from here. And we're gonna just have a few bones. We're not gonna have too much, because we're gonna add physics with Wiggler 2 add-on, so it can cause us some trouble if we put a lot of bones. Now let's just make the weight painting. Let's see if it's working. See this weird distortion? You may wonder why this is happening. It's because all these bones are influencing this tail, while the hip bone, while the main pivot bone is also influencing, so it caused this weird glitch. So I'm gonna just remove the weight painting from this bone and just let these ones. Now if I move, it's everything right. See, it bends really well. We can go even further and add bones to add physics to the skirt, to the breasts, and of course to the shirt and hair. So let's make for the shirt now. Let me put now for the shirt, I'm gonna have maybe 2 bones. We don't need too much for this situation. It's okay. Let me click on this, hold shift, click on this, Control P. Okay, it's connected, so it's fine, it's fine. Let me put maybe here. Let click on this one, hold shift, click on this, Control P, keep offset. Okay, now it's moving. So let's do the weight painting. So we need to do the same for the hair. I just made all the stuff. All the rigging is already done. I have some bones for the skirt to have physics. Oh, I just forgot to make the weight painting for the back. Let me fix real quick. I did the whole weight painting, whole rigging process, as you could see, and it's not done yet. I still having some things to fix. For example, this hand should be in the hip, and it's not on the hip. This is moving freely. So how can we fix that? First of all, we need to select the bone, hold Alt and click P, and click Clear Parent. It's not gonna follow the bone anymore. And now it's time to make the IK. To make an IK really easy, you first select the bone, which is gonna control the IK, hold Shift and click in the previous bone, and click Shift plus I and to active bone. If you move this around, it's gonna move the character. It's not so good yet. It's not working properly because we need to click on this bone, which is yellow now. Go here into the bone constraints and adjust the chain length. So we have this bone, and before it we have 1, 2. I want to move also the shoulder, so the chain length should be 2. See how there's a yellow line pointing to this connection, so it's moving into the arm. See, now it's controlling almost perfectly, but I found a problem. When this bone rotates, it's rotating also the hand, so I'm still having to fix the weight painting. I know this is boring as fuck, but we need to fix that. There's nowhere to run. Okay, now it's working better. See, we have an IK. Just click on the hand, hold Shift, click on the hip, Control P, keep offset. Now if I turn the hip, the hand goes together. See how this is incredible. Now we must fix the legs because it's a completely mess moving around. You can, of course, make an IK for this if you desire. You can make an IK, there is no problem with it, but I'm not gonna with IK. Actually, I'm gonna add a other constraint. So select the leg, go to the constraints, add bone constraint, and I'm gonna add a stretch 2. And how the name says, it's gonna stretch the bone to other object. But of course, in the target, I'm gonna select the armature, and in the bone, I'm gonna click in the eyedropper and select this bone. Now, when I move this bone around, it's gonna stretch my leg so it is in place, just like I want. You can change a few settings, for example, the volume variation. This is what it does, if you're curious about it. Maybe sometimes not what you want. Honestly, I prefer to put it on 0. And okay, it's working as it showed. The leg is in place perfectly. Well, not so perfectly, but but it works. Now about the physics. We want physics. Before we add the physics, we must set up the FPS. Okay, so go to output and set the frame rate to one you prefer. Honestly, I prefer to work with 13 FPS, and this is gonna completely change the physics. Okay, so if you set up 30 FPS, don't change later. Okay, how do you add physics? You can press N to open the right side panel, and go to animation. You have Wiggler 2. If you don't have this, you must install this add-on. It's completely free. You just need to search on Google for Wiggler 2. Okay. How you can see, our scene is muted, so I'm gonna turn on. Let me select this bone, for example. We have bone head and bony tail. Bonehead, it's gonna control the position, and Bonetail means the rotation. So if I turn on Bonehead and hit spacebar or play, because you need to play to see the physics, see how it's wiggling. You have some other setups like stiffness. Stiffness, it's gonna control how springy this bone is. So if I put, for example, 100, it's not so springy anymore. See how it works. And we have also the gravity. You can put lower values like 0, for example. You have no gravity on this because the gravity is not gonna work really well in this case. So I prefer to turn it off. You have the dampening. The dampening work like some kind of weight or delay. So if I put, for example, 100 and move around, see how it takes a lot of time to respond. You can put 1, of course, if you desire. And the stretch. The stretch is gonna fix this problem. If I move up or down, it's just going to the sides. So I'm gonna put a little bit of stretch, like 0.9. So yeah, now it's working. You can put 1 if you want. It depends on the kind of movement you're gonna have. Dampening, I'm gonna put some dampening like 5. I think it's proper for this case. Okay, let's put some Bonetail to have some rotation. And turn off the gravity. When you turn on Bonehead and Bonetail at the same time, you're gonna have some really exaggerated weight. See how it's different. I'm gonna decrease the stiffness to 200 maybe. I suppose it's work. No, it's not good. Maybe 300 and put some dampening like 10. Okay, we're not gonna have a really long movement, so I think it works. You have to tweak the values and test to see which works better for you. And for this child bone, I'm also gonna add Bonetail without gravity because it's giving me a lot of bugs. Okay, now we have a decent cloth movement. At least I like it. For me, it's good enough. It's not bad. Okay, let me decrease the stiffness of this little guy. Okay, now we have a decent cloth movement. See? It works really well. We are just gonna set this up for all the other bones. For example, the tail of the character. I'm not gonna put on this bone because I may want to add some movements later, so let me put on the second one. Select all the bones at the same time. Bonetail. Remove the gravity because for some reason it's giving me these weird bugs. Put like 20 on the dampening and see. Okay, not bad at all. But we can put stretch. You can put something really low like 0.2. So you have, see, we have a better movement now. You can bend better. In general, it's good. I like the result. The tail is moving kinda good for me. Let's make the same stuff for the skirt. I think I'm gonna have a better result. See how the skirts just jump around. Yeah, boy. Now let's go for the hair. Now we have a lot of physics working on here. I just forgot to add physics on the breast, and I'm gonna teach you how to make that. So let's get back to edit mode. Instead of duplicating the bone, I'm gonna add a new bone with Shift plus A, because we need to have a bone pointing up without any rotation. And let me adjust the size of this bone, something like this. Put it on the left breast and change my vision to the side. Oh, what the fuck? Look where this bone is at. So let me fix that. Okay, I'm gonna rotate this bone in the X axis, but before, let me put on octahedral. So it's gonna be RX 90 on your keyboard, and you're just fine. It should be pointing to the front and not to the back. Okay, so let's reduce the size of this bone, and should be in the middle of the character, just like that. Now we can go back to stick and adjust the position right here. Make it child of the torso, the upper body. Let me select it, Shift plus Z, put on the other breast, and do the weight painting. So click on the armature, click on the body, Control Tab, weight painting. I'm gonna just use a radial gradient to make that. See, it's not complicated as it looks. It's kind of simple and easy. Now we just need to turn on the physics. So let's select these little guys. I'm gonna use both bonehead and bone tail without the gravity, because as you can see, the gravity is giving me trouble. The stiffness for the bonehead 120, 0.9595 on the strat, without dampening. In the bone tail 200 on the stiffness. It's gonna work. See how the breasts are bouncing around. We have some juicy physics working on. How it's glitching, you can turn off the bone tail if you want, because the bone tail adds rotation, so it can give you problems. If it's giving you too much problem, you can try to push the arm back. But if you're gonna push any part of the character to the back or to the front, you have to be on the orthographic view. Let's compare. I am now on the perspective and gonna push this to the back. See how the size is changing? But if you are on the orthographic view, there's no difference. You can put on top or back. You are not gonna have any problem. So just have that in mind. Okay, I have some bouncing physics. I think I want that. I want this exaggerated physics. I'm not gonna decrease the value. I like this. So we have all the rig completely working with physics. Our next step is gonna be animating this. It's finally time to start animating, and before I make the animation, I'm gonna hide some useless bones and adjust some things. So there's some bones I'm not gonna move. For example, the arms, I'm not gonna change them, so I'm gonna hide. And to make an animation, we are basically just creating poses. So you can have, for example, 2 poses for a loop, but in my case, it's gonna be a little bit different. So I'm gonna create a base layer with all this stuff, except the physics bones, and assign and create a new layer and lock this. So the first step is to make the character move to the sides. It's time to make the looping, so I'm gonna just clean some keyframes. Time to make it loops. So let's add a cycles modifier. Okay, everything's looping now. So I think we can make some new animation, which is she bouncing to up and down. Like she's jumping, you know. Okay. Now she's jumping, but not how as it should be. It's not good yet. If we put some offset on this, it's gonna look like that. Now she's jumping better, but I don't know if it is how it's supposed to be. See, depending on how you move the keyframes, the animation will look really different. The thing is, when she jumps, I suppose the leg should be basically here and basically here, like this. I was making the animation just focusing on the entire thing, but for sure my camera will just capture something like this, cutting the legs. So this frame is still making sense for me, it's not bad. Anyway, let me just make some adjustments on the first animation, because if we turn off the second animation, we just have the base and dry animation, but with the jump we got something really smooth, as you can see. We can make some adjustments, of course. Let's see how it's gonna turn out. I will give it a try. Yeah, I like it. The result of the animation. It's looking pretty good for me. The hair is moving well. We have some bouncing boobs. I like it. We have some physics on the clothes. Not perfect, of course, but it works, as it did. So yeah, it's fine. I like it. Now let's give it some extra sauce. Creating a new animation layer, and I'm literally gonna put it. The name is it. The name of it as sauce. I wanna add some extra sauce. We're gonna make some anticipation to the sauce, of course. So I don't have too much elements to make anticipation, so I'm gonna use the hand for that. I have this pose. I'm gonna make the hand go up here. You can put it on 3D perspective like that if you want. You just have to press R 2 times in there, and you can distort it as you wish. In my case, it's not working properly, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, the hands go upper. So we have our first our first animation, and here we're gonna make the second, like she pulling her skirt up. So I'm gonna create a new keyframe here. I'm also gonna create a keyframe for the shoulder, head, and the upper body. So we must stretch the arm a little bit like that. We can put the arm, the hand to go inside the skirt, just like this, just a little bit of the tail, like this, so we can fake she's pulling, you know. I am using the 3D perspective to fake the interaction. This is why I love Blender. Anyway, we can bend a little bit of the upper body and pull and push the shoulder down, just like that. We can do something like this also to give some expression to animation. See, she's almost holding the skirt now. It's not like the way I wanted it to be exactly. Let me put some extra sauce on this. Yeah, just like that. I like it. It's exactly like I want. Perfect. Now it's time to push this, to pull this up. Yeah, now we just need to make the animation loops again because I just broke the goddamn loop. The main pose is when the arms close from the head. So maybe here. 6 through 5. Almost. Yep, fine. I just finished the looping. So now we have the animation working properly. So it's time to create a camera. But Akurallia, we already have a camera right here. Did you forget? No, I did not forget about it. The problem is that this camera it's just for reference. We're just using it to adjust the character in case you want to import some new sprites or update your sprites. So it should be in place. So we're not gonna change it. And we're gonna leave this camera here and just duplicate it. We're using Shift plus Z, left click, and we're gonna hide this and just let this camera. So we need to set up the resolution correctly. So because this one is not working, we need to set up a good resolution for this. In my case, is this one. So let me, okay, I am changing this camera, but we are not using that as the main camera, as you can see. So to fix that, we are gonna go on View, Cameras, and click in Set Active Object as Camera. Now this is our real camera. We're gonna use it to render. We just need to see some things. If it's not gonna clip our character on the animation. It's not clipping on the left side. As we can see, it's not clipping. It's working pretty well. Now it's not clipping on the right side. It's everything in place. Perfect. For this animation, I'm not gonna render with transparency, so I'm gonna press Shift plus A, go to the mesh, plane, adjust this plane to the back, RX90, and use it to fill the background. So as you can see in rendered mode, it's just dark, so I'm gonna go to the material section, create a new material, change the surface to emission, and put some color like green. We don't have any kind of green piece in the character, so it's not gonna give you a strobo when making the chroma key. Yeah, I think it works. Before rendering, we need to bake our physics. If we render, the physics not gonna work. So I'm gonna create a new animation layer and call it physics bake. Go to the pose mode, show all the bones. In the wiggle to section, click and select enabled, and go to the bake wiggle section. In the pre-row, I'm gonna put something like 20. It's gonna simulate 20 frames before and then bake the physics. When you bake the physics, you convert every single movement of the bones to a keyframe on the timeline. So this is what baking means. Let's click on select enabled to select only the bones which have the physics turned on. Check override current to action because I have the action which is the physics bake selected, and just click in the bake wiggle. After baking, you're gonna get a lot of keyframes on your timeline, and you can render after that. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I invite you to check out my course, Anime Express. The link is on my bio and description of this video. It's currently in pre-sale. All the content is in Portuguese, but English subtitles are coming soon. See you there.